return of the one Chip Viney, and all that's coming up after the bumper.
What do you mean you don't subscribe to my son's YouTube channel?
Mama, no!
Just snap the damn ball, RJ.
What's up, kid folk? It's RJ Young. I am not on a step mill. Consider hitting the like and subscribe button because I upload a video every single day. It's always OU related, college football related, sports related. We have a good time. So the first thing you need to know is that Lincoln Reilly is actually in favor of an 8-team playoff, provided you do it right. At the Journey Church in Norman, he told the Norman Transcript every conference champion is likely to get in with an 8-team playoff. That's one of the reasons that it's attractive, which means that whoever comes from the Big Ten wouldn't have to worry about getting snubbed by an SEC school. However, yo, Big Ten, get better, let's go. But I don't know, that would also mean that the Pac-12 gets the conference champion in. Is the Pac-12 still any good? But Reilly was also well aware that an expansion to an 8-team playoff does not necessarily mean that Oklahoma is going to get in if it does not win a conference championship. And he gave this really good and detailed response to how an increase in scheduling probably outweighs the benefits. Last year, we were getting ready to fly out to the Rose Bowl, be there for 2 days, then go to Georgia for the national championship game 6 days later, all of this happening during the guys' entire break. Coach Shane Beamer came from Georgia and said they were actually starting spring classes during the week of practice for the national championship. Either you don't do it or you have to start those playoff games earlier, around Christmas or just after. So I think Reilly's got a good point here. Yes, we would love for an 8-team playoff to come into fruition, and I think it's actually on its way. But I also think that it's going to limit some non-conference scheduling, and you're going to have to get started on your bowl scheduling much sooner than folks who are paying out tons of money for these games would likely want you to. There's nothing else going on around New Year's, and that's one of the reasons why the college football playoff is such a big deal. So it would be interesting to see how the bigwigs make an 8-team playoff work, knowing that you still have student athletes who have to go to school and also don't want to be travel weary for the biggest games of the season. And it seems that safety Chance Sylvie might have an opportunity to not only play, but get his redshirt year and continue to play. This is because of the new redshirt rule, which allows up to 4 games for any athlete to play at the college football FBS level before they have to burn their redshirt, which means that a guy like Chance Sylvie, who's a safety, who plays a position that there is not a whole lot of depth at, could return 2/3 of the way through the season, play the last 4 games, and still keep his red shirt. I think that would be phenomenal. Specifically because you're moving 2 guys that play corner to play safety to add depth in Justin Broyles and Jordan Parker. And Jordan Parker's coming off of a horrific knee injury, but he seems fit and ready to go and has an opportunity to compete for that strong safety spot alongside Khalil Houghton. However, you got a guy like Robert Barnes, you got a guy like Justin Broyles at the free safety positions, and you got more moving and shaking. You don't always know what you have, so you like to have more bodies on deck if you can. Chance, go through the therapy, get better. Sooners need you. Now let's talk about the man of the hour, the one Chip Viney. Courtney to his mama. Mama call him Courtney, I'm gonna call him Courtney. So Viney was brought back after a stint at Oklahoma as a graduate defensive assistant from 2013 to 2015. And the Reilly effect has taken over since Viney has left, with the recruiting being just blazing, just on fire. And yet, Reilly still called this hire a home run. This is an important hire and a really great hire for our entire program. Courtney has great knowledge of and experience with Oklahoma, our program, our coaches, our staff. He's just an absolutely gifted and tremendous recruiter. He gained a lot of experience both here and at Nevada, and has excellent ties all over the country, as well as a great eye for talent. We think he's going to add to what's been an already successful recruiting department, and we're thrilled to welcome him, Whitney, and their children back to Norman. Viney is officially being added as a recruiting analyst, which is just fine because, number one, could always do with more help in recruiting, but particularly in recruiting defensive backs. Yes, it seems to be Dax Hill is trending away from OU, but you gotta believe that a guy like Chip Viney keeps them in the mix because of what he's been able to do in his coaching and recruiting of other defensive backs. In an upcoming episode of the Woosaw podcast, I talked to Kass Everett about just what it means to have Chip Viney in your locker room, and I have memory of Julian Wilson just gushing about what Coach Viney could do for him and how he helped make him into a better football player. But for now, know that Zack Sanchez gave up major props to Chip Viney in 2016, saying, quote, "There's not a doubt in my mind that I transformed because of him. He was put into my life for a reason. I can't thank him enough, and I can't wait to repay him one day." Alright, that's it for me. Deuces.